Russia, which has lost its reputation as a reliable partner in the global energy market, is unlikely to see the return of American oil companies even after the end of the war in Ukraine. Harold Hamm, founder of Continental Resources and one of the sponsors of Donald Trump's election campaign, said in an interview with the Financial Times, "A lot of people have lost a lot of money in Russia. I don't think they want to go back there. There is peace there from time to time, but not very often." Hamm emphasized, adding that he himself is glad not to follow the example of those who invested in Russian projects. Russia has lured Western energy companies for decades with promises of access to vast natural resources. But the annexation of Crimea in 2014, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, and the sanctions that followed have completely destroyed investor confidence. ExxonMobil pulled out of joint projects with Rosneft, losing $2.3 billion due to the end of its participation in Sakhalin 1. BP, which owned almost 20% of Rosneft shares, lost $25.5 billion after leaving Russia. TotalEnergies wrote off $14.8 billion due to the severance of ties with NOVATEK. Shell, which participated in Nord Stream 2 and Sakhalin 2, left with losses of $4.2 billion. These losses outweigh any hypothetical benefits from returning to the Russian market. Despite the US-Russia talks on February the 18th, the prospects for lifting energy sanctions look dim. Hamm stressed sanctions, especially secondary ones, which affect all participants in the transportation and processing of Russian energy resources, remain an extremely effective instrument of pressure, even if Washington changes its policy. The instability of the Russian legal system and the unpredictability of political decisions scare off international players. Companies will be in no hurry to return to a market where the rules change overnight, said Tatyana Mitrova, an expert at the Center for Global Energy Policy at Columbia University. Amid diplomatic efforts, Moscow hopes for renewed cooperation. Kirill Dmitriev, head of the Russian Direct Investment Fund, said that American companies could return as early as the second quarter of 2025, estimating their losses from leaving at more than $300 billion. Analysts consider the Russians' forecasts to be unachievable. Russia's weak economy, military risks, and uncertainty in international politics make such statements by the Kremlin more propaganda than a real prospect. Russia, which until recently was an attractive market for global energy giants, has turned into a toxic asset. Losses incurred by Western companies have exceeded $50 billion, and the chances of their recovery look ghostly. Sanctions, broken business ties, and political instability have made Russia unsuitable for long-term investment. American business experts say Russia is no longer trusted. The money is lost there. There is no future.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told a summit in Kiev on Monday that 2025 must become the year of the beginning of real and reliable peace. Putin will not gift us this peace, nor will he give it away in exchange for something. We must achieve peace through strength, wisdom, and unity, through our cooperation with you. Peace cannot simply be declared in 1 hour, Zelensky said at the opening of an event with foreign leaders who came to support Ukraine on the third anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion. According to Associated Press, Zelensky said that ending the war must begin with steps that restore trust in the situation itself, and urged the presence of Europe in negotiations, adding Russia's aggression targets not only Ukraine but also Europe's security and way of life. A dozen leaders from Europe and Canada visited Ukraine's capital Monday to mark the third anniversary of Russia's invasion in a show of support for Kiev by some of the nation's most important backers. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, Finnish President Alexander Stubb and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau were among the visitors who took part in the summit on Monday.
– 2025 року, через 3 роки від початку путінської триденної спеціальної військової операції «Україна жива», бореться, і у нашої держави друзів у світі більше, ніж будь-коли. Ніхто у світі не вірить російській брехні про нашу державу, наших людей. І навіть ті, хто, на жаль, став спільником Росії у війні, хто бреше разом з нею, усі вони розуміють, кого і в чому вони підтримують. Вони можуть зробити різні кроки, вони можуть заробити якісь гроші на своїх відносинах з Росією зараз, але ніколи не здобудуть повагу. Миру для України, справедливого миру. В якій точці цей рік повинен стати роком початку реального надійного миру. Путін не подарує нам цей мир, не віддасть його в обмін на щось. Ми маємо здобути мир силою, мудрістю і єдністю, нашою з вами співпрацею. Про мир неможливо просто оголосити за 1 годину, неможливо оголосити за 1 день сьогодні, завтра, післязавтра. На жаль, така реальність. Дружбою. Дякую. Війна триває проти України, і тому Україна має бути за столом перемовин. Разом з Європою. Стратегічною мішенью Росії є саме Європа, європейський спосіб життя, а отже її безпека та доля Європи не може визначатися без Європи. Україна, Європа разом з Америкою. Ми маємо бути за столом перемовин навпроти Росії, щоб необхідність миру не була знов заговорена обіцянками про нормалізацію, перезагрузку чи замирення. Друге.
Dozens of protesters gathered in front of the Russian de facto embassy in Taiwan on Sunday, demonstrating in support of Ukraine a day before the 3rd anniversary of the country's invasion by Russian forces. According to Associated Press, the protesters, of multiple nationalities including Ukrainian and Taiwanese, showed their support through silent demonstrations as well as by singing the Ukrainian national anthem. Alex Kamenko, an Ukrainian activist in Taiwan, said he hoped the demonstration would send a message to other nations with expansionist ideals. China or anybody else who wants to conquer another country right now, I hope they see what it leads to. You know? Nothing between Ukraine and Russia will ever be the same, for generations. Kamenko said Ukraine had no choice but to keep fighting back. When somebody comes knocking at your door and they say they want to kill you and they proceed to do it, you know you didn't have a choice. Attendees at the protest said they feel concerned about waning support for Ukraine. US President Donald Trump's efforts to negotiate an end to the war have sidelined Kyiv, in favor of establishing stronger relations with Moscow. We cannot help, me personally at least, but feel a little bit betrayed, said Oleg Shin, a Ukrainian national in Taiwan. But, I guess we'll have to see how it crystallizes into actual actions, and if this is what we hope it wouldn't be, then we will have to adjust, he added.
Torture was pervasive during